Hey, so we're here in New York at the Glacier flagship. Super excited to meet Sir John. I heard a lot of good things about him. I heard that he has positive energy, so maybe I can take some of that positive energy.
Hey guys, I'm just wrapping up like a 2-day kind of press tour that I did in New York, and I just came from the Liberty game, and they announced me that I was there. And
You know what should be an Olympic sport? These morning routine warriors. Cause what do you mean you're waking up at 3:30 in the morning?
COCO Gauff's mother finally speaks, the heartbreaking truth behind America's tennis darling's silent breakdown that nobody saw coming. Welcome back to the home of Tennis Truth, where we don't just watch the matches, we see the stories behind the scores. This is Court Vision Plus, and if you are new here, or if you've been following us on our other platforms, make sure you smash that subscribe button right now. We are launching this brand new channel, Court Vision Plus, to bring you closer to the court than ever before, so please, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a breaking update. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your tissues and brace yourselves, because what just happened in the tennis world is not just a headline, it is a heartbreak. It is a revelation that has shattered the carefully curated image of professional tennis and exposed the raw, bleeding edge of a mother's love. We are talking about the golden girl of American tennis, COCO Gauff. But today, we aren't talking about forehands or backhands. We are talking about a breaking statement that has just come out, literally minutes ago, that has completely stopped the tennis community in its tracks. For days, the silence has been deafening. Fans have been whispering, critics have been speculating, and the forums have been on fire with rumors about COCO Gauff's recent demeanor. We've seen the frustration on the court, the dip in form, and those moments where the camera catches a look in her eyes that says, "I want to be anywhere but here." But nobody, and I mean nobody, knew the true extent of what was happening behind closed doors. Until now. A few minutes ago, Candy Gauff, Coco's mother, the woman who is usually the rock, the calm presence in the player's box, the one cheering with that steady, maternal strength, publicly spoke out. And she didn't just speak, she broke down the walls. With a choked, emotional voice that betrayed the sleepless nights she has likely been enduring, Candy stepped forward to protect her child. She said, and I quote, "It's time for me to speak. There are things my daughter has carried in silence for far too long, and not everyone her age is strong enough to endure what she has." Just let those words sink in for a second. Things she has carried in silence. This isn't just about a bad service game or a split with a coach. This is about the soul of a young woman who has been thrust into the global spotlight since she was 15 years old. Candy Gauff didn't stop there. After days of choosing to remain quiet, perhaps hoping the storm would pass, she revealed COCO's current mental and emotional state for the very first time. She explained why this recent period has been the most difficult stretch of COCO's career. And the revelation is devastating. Candy confirmed that this struggle is not only on the court, it's not just about the tennis, but it is deeply rooted in her life away from the spotlight. We often forget, don't we? We forget that when the stadium lights go down and the crowds go home, these athletes go back to hotel rooms. Often alone. Candy spoke about the invisible weight of expectations, that heavy cloak that COCO wears every time she steps out the door. She spoke about the relentless competition schedule that grinds these athletes into dust, physically and mentally. She spoke about the constant public scrutiny, where every hairstyle, every word, every double fault is analyzed by millions of strangers online. But the part that really hit home, the part that has everyone talking right now, is when Candy described the loneliness. She said, "There were nights when my daughter cried in silence, not because she lost a match, but because she was afraid she was no longer allowed to be vulnerable." That is the sentence that is haunting the tennis world right now. Afraid she was no longer allowed to be vulnerable. It paints a picture of a young superstar who feels she has to be a robot, a machine built for winning, rather than a human being allowed to feel pain. Candy's words have left the tennis world in absolute silence. It's a painful, raw, and honest truth that has ignited a massive wave of compassion. To understand why this is happening now, we have to look at the context of the last few months. This hasn't happened in a vacuum. Think about the trajectory of COCO Gauff. She has been the next Serena, the future of American tennis, the phenom since she was a teenager. That is a heavy crown to wear. Recently, we've seen the cracks forming. We watched the struggles with her serve, the frantic energy during matches, and the intense, almost suffocating pressure to back up her Grand Slam success. We watched the highly public split with Brad Gilbert, a coaching change that was dissected by every analyst on the planet. Everyone had an opinion. She needs to fix her grip, she needs a new voice, she's listening to her parents too much, she's not listening enough. Imagine having millions of people telling you how to do your job while you are barely out of your teenage years. Candy Gauff's statement today is a direct response to that noise. It is a mother standing between the wolves and her cub. It reminds us of the struggles of Naomi Osaka, who bravely stepped away to protect her peace. It reminds us of Simone Biles. We are seeing a pattern here, folks. The brightest stars are burning under the hottest lights. But Candy's revelation adds a new layer. It suggests that Coco has been hiding this pain to keep us, the fans, happy. To keep the sponsors happy. To keep the tour machine moving. The silent cries Candy mentioned? That is the sound of a champion trying to hold it all together when the world is demanding more, more, more. Let's dig deeper into what Candy meant by unseen by most people. The life of a tennis player is uniquely isolating. Unlike team sports where you have teammates to lean on, tennis is a solitary confinement. You are out there on the court, alone. You travel, often with a small team, moving from city to city, hotel to hotel. It is a glamorous life on Instagram, but the reality is often a grind of airports, room service, and physio tables. When you lose, the silence in that hotel room can be deafening. And when you are Coco Gauff, a loss isn't just a loss, it's a global news event. This statement from Candy also sheds light on the family dynamic. We know how close the Gauff family is. Corey and Candy have been there every step of the way. But this statement shows the toll it takes on the parents, too. To watch your child suffer in silence, to hear them crying at night and know that the world only cares about their forehand, that must be agonizing. Candy's voice was choked and emotional because she has reached her breaking point. She couldn't let the narrative continue that Coco was just slumping or distracted. She had to let the world know that her daughter is hurting. This changes everything about how we watch Coco's next match. It changes the narrative from what is wrong with Coco's game, to how is Coco's heart. It forces the media and the fans to step back and realize that we are watching a human being grow up in real time, under a microscope. The weight of being labeled the future of American tennis has been crushing in ways we never fully appreciated. When Coco burst onto the scene at Wimbledon in 2019, beating Venus Williams at just 15 years old, the tennis world collectively lost its mind. Here was the heir apparent, the one who would carry the torch after the Williams sisters. But what we celebrated as a fairy tale was also the beginning of an impossible burden. Every match became a referendum on her destiny. Every loss was treated as a catastrophe. Every win was expected, not celebrated. The joy of discovery was replaced by the tyranny of expectation. We have to ask ourselves, what triggered this specific statement right now? While we don't have the exact incident that was the straw that broke the camel's back, the timing is crucial. With the tennis calendar being non-stop, there is no off-season for the mind. The pressure to defend points, to maintain rankings, to show up for endorsements, it never ends. The tennis tour is a relentless beast that devours youth and spits out veterans. For someone like Coco, who turned professional at such a young age, the accumulation of pressure is exponential. Every year adds another layer of expectation, another contract to fulfill, another milestone to achieve. Candy's intervention feels like a desperate plea for grace. She is asking the world to back off. She is asking us to remember that before Coco is a Grand Slam champion, she is someone's daughter. She is a young woman trying to navigate a life that 99.9% of us cannot comprehend. The statement is not just about tennis, it's about humanity. It's about the cost of fame when it arrives before you've even figured out who you are as a person. The reaction from the tennis community has been instant. Social media is already flooding with the hashtag #WeStandWithCoco. Players, past and present, are likely seeing this news and nodding their heads, knowing exactly that feeling of silent isolation. We are seeing comments from fans saying they had no idea, apologizing for being too harsh on her recent performances. It is a wake-up call. The tennis world is finally having a conversation it should have been having all along. How much is too much? At what point does our hunger for entertainment cross the line into exploitation? But there is also a dramatic twist here. By speaking out, Candy has taken a risk. In the cutthroat world of sports media, admitting vulnerability can sometimes be seen as a weakness by opponents. It puts a target on COCO's back in a different way. Some competitors might see this as an opportunity, a crack in the armor to exploit. But Candy clearly decided that her daughter's well-being is worth more than any tactical advantage. This is a mother saying, "Enough is enough." This is a parent who has watched her child bear the weight of the world and finally decided that no trophy, no ranking, no endorsement deal is worth seeing her baby cry herself to sleep. The statement also forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about COCO's recent struggles. When she lost early at tournaments, when her serve faltered, when she seemed frustrated with her team, we analyzed it all through a purely technical lens. We talked about footwork and shot selection and mental toughness. But what if the real issue was something deeper? What if the serve wasn't breaking down because of mechanics, but because her heart was breaking? What if the frustration we saw wasn't about tennis at all, but about a young woman reaching the end of her rope? This revelation puts COCO's 2023 US Open victory in a new light. We all celebrated that breakthrough, that validation of her talent and potential. But what if that triumph also added to the burden? Winning a Grand Slam at 19 should be liberating, but for COCO, it may have felt like signing a contract she didn't fully understand. Suddenly, anything less than a Grand Slam final is a disappointment. Suddenly, the expectations aren't about potential anymore, they're about results. The joy of the journey is replaced by the pressure of the destination. The parallels to other young athletes who have struggled with mental health are impossible to ignore. When Naomi Osaka withdrew from the French Open in 2021 to protect her mental health, the tennis world was shocked. Some were supportive, but many were critical, accusing her of being weak or unprofessional. It took time for the conversation to shift, for people to understand that mental health is just as important as physical health. Now, with Candy's statement about COCO, we are seeing that Osaka's brave stand didn't solve the problem, it just exposed it. The tour continues to grind, the pressure continues to build, and young athletes continue to suffer in silence. Simone Biles faced similar scrutiny when she withdrew from events at the Tokyo Olympics, citing mental health concerns and the twisties, a dangerous phenomenon where gymnasts lose their sense of spatial awareness mid-air. The initial reaction was harsh. How could the greatest gymnast of all time quit? But as her story unfolded, as she explained what she was going through, public opinion shifted. She became a hero not for her medals, but for her courage to prioritize her well-being over performance. COCO Gauff is now part of this lineage, this generation of athletes who are refusing to sacrifice their humanity on the altar of achievement. We will be following this story incredibly closely. We will be looking for a response from COCO herself, or perhaps a statement from her team regarding her schedule for the upcoming tournaments. Will she play? Should she play? These are the questions we will be debating. The Australian Open is on the horizon, and all eyes will be on whether COCO appears. If she does, how will the crowd react? Will they give her the support she desperately needs, or will the pressure be even more intense now that her vulnerability is public knowledge? But for now, the headline is clear, the silence is broken. The tears are real. And COCO Gauff needs our support more than ever. This is a developing story, and the situation is fluid. We are monitoring all the official channels and insider sources to bring you the latest updates on COCO's condition and her plans for the season. This is the kind of deep dive reporting you can expect from us here. We don't just skim the surface, we go deep. The broader implications of Candy's statement extend beyond COCO Gauff. This is a moment that could change how we think about young athletes in all sports. The cult of youth, the celebration of prodigies, the rush to crown the next great one, all of it needs to be re-evaluated. We need to ask ourselves if we are creating environments where young people can thrive, or if we are setting them up for inevitable breakdowns. We need to consider whether the entertainment we derive from their performances is worth the psychological toll it takes on them. Candy Gauff's statement is also a powerful reminder of the role of parents in the lives of elite athletes. It is easy to criticize sports parents, to accuse them of being pushy or living vicariously through their children. But what we are seeing here is a mother who is willing to risk public backlash, who is willing to be seen as overprotective or interfering, in order to protect her daughter. That is not weakness, that is strength. That is love in its purest form. Candy is not trying to make excuses for Coco's performance. She is trying to save her daughter's soul. The tennis community owes the Gauff family a debt of gratitude for this honesty. It would have been easier to stay silent, to let the rumors swirl, to hope that things would get better on their own. But by speaking out, Candy has started a conversation that needed to happen. She has given voice to the countless young athletes who are suffering in silence, who feel they cannot speak up because it would be seen as weakness or failure. Her courage will hopefully inspire others to be honest about their struggles, to seek help when they need it, to prioritize their well-being over their performance. So, if you appreciate this kind of honest, unfiltered coverage, if you want to be the first to know the truth behind the headlines, you know what to do. Please, give this video a like. It really helps us get this message of support out to more people. Leave a comment down below. Send your love to Coco and Candy. Tell us what you think about the pressure on these young stars. Do you think the tour is too harsh? Let's get a conversation going in the comments section. And most importantly, make sure you are subscribed to Court Vision Plus. This is our new home for everything tennis, and we need you on this journey with us. Click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and share this video with a friend who loves tennis. We are Court Vision Plus, keeping your eyes on the court and your heart in the game. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video with more updates on this breaking story.
Hey guys, it's Coco here, and I'm super excited to say I'll be back in DC. I have so many great memories there. I won my first ever WTA title in DC, and I'm so happy.
Oh no, not me. I did it my.
What's a black grand national? Fuck being rational. Give them what they ask for. Not enough.